All right, Michelle, it's been great chatting with you so far this afternoon. I appreciate you making time for me so last minute. College was like, hey, I gotta get you back on with me. So I appreciate you making time for me once again.
No problem.
Yeah, so Michelle, I would love to simply just introduce you and then you can go ahead and go from there. So, Michelle, well, I have your resume pulled up here and I was looking at your experience here. I was looking that you have extensive recruitment experience working at SeaWorld. That is majority where your recruitment experience is. Your tenureship is there as well. You have those administrative skill sets with utilizing Microsoft Word, Office, I should say, with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. And Michelle, I'll stop kind of introducing you. I would love for you to give me a little bit of experience when it comes to recruitment or your purchasing experience, if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, I'm Michelle Foreman. I'm originally from Gainesville, Florida, and I moved to the Orlando slash Sanford area around COVID time, 2020. And I did used to work at SeaWorld in the procurement purchasing department. And I pretty much the day-to-day life was pretty much like the end users, what they called them, which would be like a worker that's inside of the park. They would put in an order for whatever it is they needed in their department, whether it was laundry soap or needing the ground repaved or a screw for a part, whatever they needed. And we would use InfoPath through Microsoft to pull those orders per department that we were over. And we would basically take those items that they're requesting and put them into SAP and create purchase orders for them. And once we've entered all the information, whether it's a service or an item that they're purchasing, we would then send the orders over to the buyer. And then the buyer would basically double check our orders, make sure everything looks like it should or is entered properly. And then they would place the orders with the vendors. Every now and then, we as the purchasers would have contact with the vendors if there was like an error on the end user's part, like they wanted 100 versus 10. And we would then have to call the vendor and say, hey, they made a mistake. They actually want 100 of these screws, not 10. Or they wanted 15 gallon jugs, not five. So, we would sometimes have to call and make those adjustments. And sometimes it just, was a smooth process.
Yeah, and I appreciate you giving me that extensive experience, details for your experience when it comes to the procurement or, the purchasing in itself. You mentioned, was it screws that you were purchasing, or
It
was it
would it would
other?
be a variety of things. It would be
Yeah.
screws, laundry detergent, costumes. We would have to put in services for them to come set up for, SeaWorld has concerts and different things. So we would have to put in the service for them to set up for those concerts, lighting, it's all kind of things.
Awesome. Well, that sounds
Computers.
seems like you worked with a lot of supplies that you've had
Yeah.
to source for or purchase at that. Can you share an example of how you have been able to successfully negotiate or successfully? Do you ever had to lead a negotiation, and how was that process? How were you successful with that?
Well, we also would have, sorry, we were purchasing computers. And so there at one point they were having a discrepancy if they should purchase them from Dell or if they should go through I forgot the other company's name that they would purchase directly from. And at one point we found them a little bit cheaper on the third party's site versus getting them directly from Dell. And so one of my colleagues had found the price difference, and we had a spreadsheet that we would keep where you would find cheaper prices for things to help everyone out. And so I was in the middle of placing an order, or actually I had to talk to Dell because I placed an order, but I entered the address in the wrong spot. So some of the or computers came to Orlando versus going to California. So while I was on the phone with them getting that swapped over and fixed, I asked, hey, so, this part, this third party, they have the same exact computer, same model, same everything. And they're selling it for, I forgot, I think it was like $20 or $30 cheaper. And the rep asked me to email over the screen. So I took a quick screenshot, sent it over to him, and he's like, "Oh, no problem. We'll honor that for you guys." And I said, "Well, it's not my order, but it's for my colleague, and I can send you her information, or, would you like to speak to her when we're finished? Like, however you want to do it. But she's, placing the order, not myself." And so he said, "It's no problem." And I ended up giving both of them each other's contact information, and they ended up ordering through Dell for that cheaper price.
That's amazing. And that really shows how you were able to quickly think on your feet and resolve an issue such as that. I'm sure, time being of an essence when it came down to the computers as well. So that is a testimony as far as how you put your foot forth to help the
Right.
team. Tell me about a time where you had to negotiate under pressure. How was that?
The first time it was kind of scary,
Yeah,
but after you kind of, go through it, it's like, oh, it's not that bad. You just, pretty much you're just asking, and it's either, yes or no. And I remember a time where um was Imperial Dade. They changed their washing powder, the brand, and apparently we're ordering, like, we're just putting the order in as we received it. And when the item physically came to the site, uh, the end user gave me a call and he's saying this is not correct. And then I actually went down there to their site to see what it was he was talking about, and he basically was saying that the part needed to fit into this certain compartment in order for it to work. And so I had to go back to my desk and call Imperial and tell them, hey, they're asking for this specific piece that has to go inside of this machine. And I sent pictures over, and she and I discussed and everything. And she's saying, "I know, I remember this. I know what you're talking about." And I said, "So, hey, those 15 pound containers that we just ordered, unfortunately, we're going to have to return them because we need the ones with this specific part." And she was understanding, and I told her, we can do the price difference if it's easier to just invoice and pay the difference, or should we cancel the order completely, do a return and reorder it. And I don't remember what the outcome was, but whatever it was, we did it for, them to be able to get that washing powder the next day.
that's amazing that you were able to still get the product and get it in a timely manner, which was the next day, especially if it
Right.
was something that was needed for the company, right? Which
Right.
again is a testimony to how you're able to problem solve these issues in a timely manner. Um,
Correct.
which is amazing. Michelle, tell me, what skills do you have that sets you apart to other candidates?
I think I have an eager to learn new things. Like, I've always been like, yeah, I know how to do that, or yeah, I have that background, but hey, I want to learn this right here too. Or I want to, keep my mind going, keep my mind learning things. And, so it's nothing wrong with doing the same thing over and over. I was with Phillips for 7 years, and a lot of that was repetitive. And it was like you get to the point where it's like second nature. You're literally doing it with your eyes closed. And so it's nothing wrong with that at all, but I also enjoy just, adding to the knowledge and being able to say like, "Oh yeah, I learned how to do that," or "I remember this," or "This looks familiar." Just to have that extra knowledge.
That's right. That's right. I always say you should remain a student.
Right.
Knowledge is always
Definitely.
power. So I agree with that, Michelle. Well, it has been a pleasure speaking to you so far, Michelle. I greatly appreciate your time. I'm going to stop the recording. Don't hang up on me. I will continue chatting with you.
Okay.